we're going to talk some Baker, but before we get into it, leave a like if you enjoy, or you can wait until the end and hopefully I'll have earned it. And make sure to drop a subscription. I'm going to be, posting videos like this every step of the way through the offseason. All right, well, hello and welcome. With me making my two latest videos about Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa, let's talk about some Baker Mayfield. Let's go to the west side of the state, the west side of the coast, and yeah, let's talk some Baker. He has been one of the most interesting cases in the NFL over the past few seasons. But one thing I have to note is that I've always been a huge fan of Baker. I remember texting my day one Andrew Hobbs in 2017 saying that Baker was going to be our guy and the one that I really wanted the Broncos to draft, especially because during the 2018 draft, they were in unfamiliar territory, picking at number 5, which has now become the norm for them, unfortunately. But anyways, I remember being around for draft season in 2018, and for those who weren't around at the time, since it was the first draft I really followed, I have great memory of it. I definitely enjoyed it, and it's how I became a huge draft nick. Now, his career arc has been rather interesting. Him being taken number 1 overall in 2018 was still at the time a bit of a surprise because most sharps and analysts seemed to really be in on Sam Darnold. But it wasn't a complete shock. It was always in the realm of possibilities, especially after the great 2017 Heisman year that Baker had. But I remember watching his Instagram live that night, and when the reigning 0-16 Cleveland Browns were on the clock first overall, and he was on the phone, I knew it right away. And people always comped him to Johnny Manziel because they wanted him to fail, and evaluating him back then, they were just like, oh, white quarterback from Texas who was, a merchant of, the team he played for, but back then I did not think they could be any different as quarterbacks. But that being said, let's talk about his actual career. He started behind Tyrod Taylor, and then the thing happens to Tyrod Taylor where he ends up getting injured on Thursday Night Football. And I guess it's a new thing where if you replace Tyrod Taylor when he's the incumbent and gets, injured, your rookie quarterback goes on to have an amazing year. Baker Mayfield set the rookie record for touchdowns. He broke Peyton Manning's rookie touchdown record and continued to have a phenomenal year, looking like he was one of the NFL's bona fide up-and-coming superstars. So Hugh Jackson got fired in the middle of the year. Greg Williams took over, and at the end of the season, the Browns were conducting a head coaching search after ending the year scorching hot. They landed on Freddie Kitchens, and Dorsey traded for Odell Beckham Jr. that same offseason. And now the hype train for that team was astronomical. So Cleveland went out week 1 and absolutely got punched in the mouth in 2019 against Tennessee on their own home field. And Baker had an atrocious 2019 after being expected to be one of the rising stars at quarterback in the league. He regressed in virtually every area of his game. None of what we saw from his rookie year actually translated to on-field success or production. Kitchens just seemed to be the diet version of Nathaniel Hackett based on how he ran his offense, the refusal to cater to their strengths, and how they fumbled Baker's development. Because Baker was on top of the NFL after his rookie season, he was expected to be the next big thing. And in 2020, he ended up turning it around. Behind a strong running tandem of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, along with new coach Stefanski providing a new look to the Cleveland offense, this team and Baker finally seemed to be for real. They ended up defeating their division rival and tormentor for decades, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in the divisional round in Pittsburgh, who are facing their own off-field controversies with Juju and Claypool not staying off of TikTok that same year. But regardless, one of the best moments in Cleveland sports history. 2021 is when the NFL world kind of got out on Baker Mayfield. He tore his labrum against the Texans in a Week 2 matchup, but this proved to be way too much for him to overcome despite the fact that it was his non-throwing shoulder. So Baker Mayfield had a bad year in 2021. How much of that is due to circumstances out of his control? I don't know. A report is that he didn't even study the game plan for that Christmas disaster against Green Bay, and so he didn't expect to play that game, and it translated to the on-field product. I'm not entirely sure what was true and what wasn't. I heard rumors that he played over 40 hours of Halo the week it came out, but over the course of the offseason, the Browns wanted to move on. They decided they had seen enough of their injured quarterback, and a serial predator with 22 pending legal cases of sexual assault was enough for them to move on. The Browns did Baker so dirty, and he was traded to Carolina for a mid-round pick. Carolina was a disaster under Matt Rule. He was benched pretty much midway through the year for Sam Darnold. He was picked up by the Rams and had that improbable comeback in December against the Raiders after not even knowing the playbook. He made the most of this opportunity, I think it's fair to say. The Rams were kind of a lost cause, especially with Stafford getting hurt. But even if Baker was just a placeholder, he did what he needed to do. And then comes 2023. He was one of the best stories of the league this past year. It was looking to be one of the saddest quarterback training camp competitions of this generation. It was looking to be an extremely sad division as well, and it was. And a lot of people after Brady left expected the Bucs to be a sad team. But Dave Canales cooked up something. Baker Mayfield revitalized himself. The Buccaneers struck gold with Baker Mayfield. Baker, Evans, Godwin, and Rashad was on the lowest of keys a lethal offense. He came up clutch in a lot of situations, including 4 touchdowns at the end of the year against Green Bay and 3 touchdowns in a wildcard game where Tampa Bay absolutely boat raced Philly. So as far as what is next for Baker Mayfield, I'm not entirely sure. Whether it's Tampa, I hope he stays in Tampa. He's really fulfilling his potential there, and he could ultimately just be a plus version of a bridge quarterback, but at the same time, he has earned the right to compete and show them that he can, live up to his potential as the first overall pick. Because due to a lot of, various factors about him and about his career, I don't know, it just really hasn't come to fruition yet, even though we have seen flashes of him playing incredible. And he played incredible this past year. I don't know. I could not be happier as a Baker fan that he's finally in a situation where he can thrive. And the Buccaneers truly struck gold with him. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.